Hi everyone. This video is about installing Java on your machine because some of the FHIR tools, well, one of them, the publisher, needs the Java virtual machine available. So we'll walk through that to get it installed on a Windows 10 machine. And hopefully there'll be enough information there to install it on your machine if you have a different operating system. So first, we'll check, see if you have Java installed on your machine, what version it is. We'll look at some related settings that could affect whether or not you're having issues with running Java on your machine. Java over the past few years has undergone a lot of licensing changes with Oracle. So some of the information, if you Google it, how to install Java, it might be a little bit confusing. You might have a hard time finding where to download it from. And how to install it. Some places will give you a zip file that you'll have to unzip and know how to set it up. But there is a new site that is trying to make it easy for the community to install the open source version of Java. It's not provided by Oracle, but it's the same application, same virtual machine. It's the adoptopenjdk.net site. So we'll go there, download a recent Java version. I will use Java 11 for this video. And okay, so let's get started. So on a Windows machine, to check if you have Java, you want to open what's called a terminal, a command line. So if you click on your Start button, the usual Start button, or the little magnifying glass that is next to it, and just start typing CMD, the letters CMD for command. You will get to see this command prompt option, and I know it's not showing well in the video, but you'll see a command prompt application, and click on that. It will open up a terminal, and I'm just setting it up here so I could switch to it. And you'll see something like this. And you'll have to type commands in here. So the first thing you could do is see if you have Java already installed or not. So you just type Java in space and then dash and version and see what you get. So if you get something like this, it means you have Java installed. Otherwise, you'll get an error message saying command not found or something like this. Like if I put some random command and type it in, you'll get something like this. Java is not recognized as internal or external command. In my case, I do have Java installed. It's 1.8, the version is 1.8 or version 8. And I want to install a newer version. This is the version that came with the machine by default. And by the way, I assume this is your personal machine. It's not a work machine, and you are allowed to do whatever you want to do with it and do this at your own risk. It should be a low-risk thing, but that's sort of your decision to follow these instructions or not. So at the command line, if you're wondering where did your Java come from on your machine, because you're not expecting it to be there, there's a command called where that could help you locate where your computer is finding the Java program. So you just type where and then put Java. And you will get entries like this to show you where your machine is finding it. So in my case, it's finding it in this first entry. This one is the one that's running, not the second one, because the first one it finds, it will use it. I have Java 11 installed in a directory somewhere, but it's not being used because it's second after the other one. So I'm going to, instead of set up the one I have in a folder, I'm going to use the installer that I mentioned from the adoptopenjdk website, from this link right here. I'm going to go to that website and download Java 11, and it's supposed to simplify the installation. So you go to the adopt OpenJDK. The homepage looks like this. It will automatically recognize what operating system you have and suggest what to download. If you're on another platform, it should recognize your computer, but if you need to, you could go into the other platform page and specifically pick which version you want and what operating system you want and what architecture. Most likely you'll want the x64, and I recommend you go with the OpenJDK 11. It's a long-term support. That's what LTS means. It's not the latest version. You could keep following the latest version, but the long-term support is the one that's a little bit more stable, and that's good enough for what we need. And you want to pick the hotspot choice here. So I'm going to go ahead and download this, and I'm going to pause the video, and for this installation, I'll probably have to pause and unpause many times just to keep it short. Okay, so I downloaded the installation file, and it is named, you should get a file downloaded called OpenJDK 11UJDK64 Windows Hotspot, the version number .msi, which means Microsoft installer file. You double click on that file, and you should start with a window like this. It should open this window and tell you that you're about to install. Accept the license, and when you get this window, this is the first time I'm using this installer, so I'm going to read it with you. You probably want to set the home variable, so go ahead and do that. And the Java soft registry keys, I'd say skip that. You do want to add it to path, and it's okay to associate it with the .jar files. That means if you double click on the jar file, it will run with the Java virtual machine. That's kind of what I'm assuming this means here. Okay, so it's installing. It will ask you for permissions probably. I'll finish walking through this while I'm pausing the video and then show any interesting results. Okay, so the installation was pretty quick. You get that one notification asking you for permission to install. I still have this command window open. If you try the command again, Java space dash version, I use the up arrow key to get back to that. You will still see the old 1.8 or 8 version, because you need to start a new command window to pick up the changes. That's what I'm hoping for here. So I'm going to close this one, and I'm going to go to the Start button again and type CMD and hit Enter, and you should get a new fresh terminal here. So let's see what version will show up here. Okay, so now you see you have OpenJDK version 11 point blah blah blah, release that date. It's a 64-bit server VM, which is sort of what you want on modern machines. So we're good to go. And if we look at where Java is coming from, now you have 3 entries. I have 3 entries here. The one that was just installed was put ahead of the other 2, so that's the one that will be picked up first when you type when you type the command on the terminal here. It picks up the first one. It looks like it installed it in the program files under the folder adopt OpenJDK, and then there is a folder for the specific version, and then the program Java is in the bin folder. So this is working. You don't need to do much else, but there is a related thing called environment variables, which sort of controls how commands are found on your computer. So I just want to kind of briefly show that in case you need to do that. So again, if you click on the Start button and then start typing environment, you don't have to finish the whole word, just start typing. You'll see an entry up here shows up, so called Edit System Environment. So click on that, and you will get a window that looks like this. The tab is called Advanced. It's within the System Properties. You could get to System Properties in many different ways. The button you want to click on is Environment Variables right here. So click on that. You will get a window that looks like this. One of the choices on the installer was to set the Java home variable. So it set it. It's right here. There are system variables and there are user variables. The system variables apply to everyone on your computer, any login on your computer. The user variables are specifically for your login, and they could override the system variables or add to the system variables. I'm not going to go into too much details here, but it looks like it added a variable under the system variables for the Java home, and it points to the directory where it installed the OpenJDK. And on the path, there is a path variable. You see one in the system and you see one in the user. The path is usually a list of directories. When a command is needed, that list of directories will be searched in order until a command is found. So it looks like it added to the system path, it added an entry on top right here that points to the installed folder, the bin folder within the hotspot OpenJDK hotspot folder. So this folder is searched for first, and the bin folder will have the Java command, so that's the one that will be used. Anything that's available after that will not be used. Okay. You want to be careful messing with these variables. Make sure you have a screenshot or something before you change them. It could affect how your computer works if you're not sure about what these variables do. I just wanted to show you that what the installer changed. It changed something in the path, and it added this Java home, which is not really necessary, but it doesn't hurt to add it. Okay, so I got Java installed and working, and that's the end of this video. Please like and subscribe if you find these videos useful. It will encourage me to keep going, and leave a comment. Let me know what you're interested in next, and if there's anything I could do to improve the content or the quality of these videos. Also, at some point, check out some of these resources listed here. They're still work in progress, and I will have a follow-up video to describe them. Keep in mind that this content is for educational purposes. There are no guarantees of accuracy and completeness, and you should use at your own risk. You might be seeing a few YouTube cards on the screen. They are suggested next videos or related playlists.